Metric Environmental Inc. is Canada's premier water solution and environmental consulting company. BlueMetric provides a full range of environmental consulting services supported by bespoke engineering solutions for emergency, self-contained, and permanent water systems, and is always mission ready with a full range of in-house support to ensure your mission is a success.
And welcome to the Over the Horizon podcast here at MASS 2023. I'm Alan Dale and I'm with Gale Force Winds. This podcast is proudly sponsored by our good friends at BlueMetric, thought leaders bringing the conversation to the trade show floor. Our next guests have an interesting relationship that we'd like to explore. Noah, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
My name is Noah Zanbilowicz. I'm the managing director with ASL Innovations. It's a local research and development company, local to Newfoundland, and we're developing a alternate runway surface as opposed to asphalt or gravel. We're using HDPE.
Wow. Duff, how about yourself?
I'm Duff Sullivan. I'm the president of Boeing Canada, here in Canada. No, I guess while I'm here, I'm the president of Boeing Newfoundland. Okay. Yeah. But no, Boeing Canada, and I was at MASS last year, and I'm back again this year because last year was so great. Had a chance to meet Noah and TJ and the group, so I'm back this year.
Okay, so I kind of get the connection right away. Aircraft and runways, I get it. What is your innovative solution, and where does that fit in to Boeing's equation?
Well, I think it was a bit of a fortuitous meeting. My business partner, TJ Green, was set up. We had a Staples printed booth here at MASS. We weren't sure what we were getting ourselves into. And at the time, we were doing remote access using composite plastic mats. Because they're renewable, you can recycle them, you can use recycled material to develop them, and at the end of life, put them in the shredder and you got a new mat, no deterioration. And so TJ was set up at a booth at MASS 2022. And this fellow walked up and was talking to TJ and introduced himself. And he asked what seemed to be a very innocuous question. He asked, "Can you land a plane on it?" And it turned out that fellow was Duff Sullivan. And he did carry a little bit of weight given who he's with and what he does. And my partner, not knowing what he was getting into, said, yes, we can land a plane on that. And so a year later, we've done tremendous amounts of research and development, and we've engaged with partners like Boeing or operators to find out what is the problem, why do you need to land a plane on it, and well, can we even land a plane on it? So there's a lot of research, there's a lot of testing that's going into it, and that's where we are a year later. So now we're really proud to be able to come out here and actually present at MASS and stand with the likes of Duff Sullivan here and talk about this product that's really grown from MASS 2022. It's pretty exciting.
What a cool story. So Duff, you're walking by, you see this young fellow there with some sort of a solution. You ask this question, what were you heading to MASS 2022 with runways in mind, or did this just come across?
Not at all. In fact, MASS 2022 was a fantastic conference, as is this one this year. And it was on the last day, and I was actually getting ready to leave, to head back to Ottawa, where I have my head office. And I'm walking, down the corridor, and I walk by your exhibit, and I stop, and I just took a glance. So that's the beauty or the benefit of coming to these type of events. I looked at all their signage, and I looked down at all the products out here, and I said, I said, this is of great interest to me and my company. And I said, that's when I said, can you land an airplane on this? The reason why I asked that is because a lot of these solutions and materials and panels, they use them for taxiways and ramp spaces for parking aircraft. And I thought that's what they were offering, and that's why I said, can you actually land an airplane like on a runway? And TJ said, yeah, he said, we can. And so he started talking to me about it. But the reason why we're interested in this, and it's because of Canada's North and Arctic. We have about 120 airports up there, and there are only 10 paved runways in all of Canada's North and Arctic. 10 out of 120. And we know that airports and runways where you can land jet aircraft, these are the economic drivers in various regions all over Canada, North America, and in fact anywhere in the world. And so we are working on a solution for Canada's North, mainly because, and you mentioned it today, the Boeing 737-200 is a workhorse of an aircraft, and it's flying into all the paved all 10 paved runways, but a handful of gravel runways up in Canada's North. And it's the only jet aircraft that can fly into those locations. And that aircraft has been in service for, in some cases, for 40 years, and it's coming to the end of its life.
Okay.
So when the aircraft retires, they'd like to bring in a new aircraft, but the new aircraft is not yet certified to go, well, it won't land on gravel, that's for sure.
Okay.
And we're looking for an alternate runway surface that we can land our new airplanes on. And so that's when we started the conversation.
Duff, a perfect explanation of the challenge. Yeah. I guess my question is, naively, why can't we just pave more runways up there? Is it supply chain issues getting equipment up there to build runways?
I mean, in a word, yes.
Yeah.
Here, if we want to pave a runway, we can do it relatively cheaply. We have equipment, we have rock, we have aggregate, we have everything we need to do it. But if you go up into Canada's Arctic, you may not even have any way of getting in there other than by boat sometimes in the summer. There is no aggregate, there is no rock, there's no heavy equipment, there's absolutely nothing you need to pave a runway. And so the cost to do it is astronomical. And so while there is a potential solution, we can do it, and we as in Canada can do it, it's cost prohibitive. And we're not going to improve access, we're not going to even maintain the current access if we only pave a handful of runways. And with everything that's changing in the world today and the improved and increased access to the Arctic, it's increasingly important that we provide not just the access we have today, but open it up. And that applies to food security and access to and from these communities, but also sovereignty and safety from a patrol, from a health evacuation, all of it.
So you got a workhorse of an aircraft coming to life. A new aircraft needs another solution. You guys have got the solution. How close are we to landing our first airplane? How many years away are we from this?
I would say, as we say, who was it? Yogi Berra said that the difficult thing about making predictions, predictions are difficult, especially when it's about the future.
Right.
I would say we're within a few years.
Okay.
A few years.
Yeah. Our goal is to have a test strip now, whether that's an entire runway or not, but to test land a plane on it in 2025.
Right.
Yeah. And the other side of the equation, if I may, is that collectively with all the stakeholders and Transport Canada and many others, we're going to go through this testing period.
Right.
But also from an aircraft manufacturer perspective is that we will then have to take the new aircraft, like a 737-800 combi, so it can carry both freight and passengers. Mm-hmm. We will have to get that aircraft certified and validated here in Canada to actually land on those types of runways. And we believe that that's a very doable goal, or that we can achieve that. But we have to go through the rigor and the process to get all the work done.
And I'm assuming if it can be used there in Canada's North, solution can be used elsewhere where your aircraft might be going as well.
It can be used in South America, it can be used in Africa, it can be used in Australia, anywhere where they have a difficult time. Where there might be a small airport with a little gravel strip, that this solution could be put in there, and then before you know it, you have another one of these economic drivers. And we're all familiar with that expression, build it and they will come. Mm-hmm. If you have a gravel strip today, and a year from now you put in a runway where jet aircraft can land, everybody will start coming in there.
Wow.
Businesses, populations, and then away we go. And then what we're looking at now is the future of Canada's North and Arctic. And we're interested in economic development. for the Inuit and the indigenous populations up there, because this is their land and we want to help them be successful.
100%.
Okay, and so that's what this is all about.
You know what does it mean to have a partner like Boeing in your court? Tell me that.
We're not partners. I can tell you, we're not officially partners. This was happenstance, but just to have the support of a company like Boeing in terms of just being there and supporting that this is a need. We need an alternate runway solution. Whether it's our product, whether it's another product, Canada and the world ultimately needs a solution.
Yeah.
And to have a company like Boeing recognize that there's this need, it means the world. Because whether or not it's our product at the end of the day, of course we want it to be, we need to find a solution as a country to improve access and to improve the lives of the people who currently live in Canada's north, but to also allow us to maintain safe operation and control of it from a security point of view.
I got to tell you guys, what a wonderful story this is. Coming out of Mass last year, this connection that was made. Yeah. Thanks for keeping your eyes open, Duff. I'm sure you've been around the block at a few trade shows. You've seen this stuff happen before?
Well, for Boeing, my job in Boeing, I do a number of things, but I kind of see myself as a talent scout. I'm looking for talent, and I'm looking for innovative ideas. And that's what I saw here last year, and then we had a number of calls.
Yep.
We've been very close, and so we meet with all we call them stakeholders right now.
Yeah.
And I know there's formal business relationships that are taking place in different locations. Boeing is a stakeholder in this plus other similar type ideas, and we love innovation. And I think these guys, ASL, they're going to be able to innovate this as well. I mean, they're just getting started, and so innovation is where they're going to make it better and better and better, because that's what innovators do, right? Yeah. So that's what this is all about. And we're happy to be that cheerleader, that stakeholder, and to move forward as they move forward as well, because it'll be our airplanes that will hopefully land on their alternate runway surfaces.
I could tell right away when the chief operating officer of ACATA brought you over to chat with me that she was pretty excited to tell this story. It's a real ACATA win.
It is,
to be sure.
Yeah.
But tell me what an organization like ACATA, this organization that brings so many members together. Tell me how important those organizations are to you, Noah.
It's really interesting. I mean, I've been going to trade shows for a very large number of years. I think, Duff, you got a couple on me, but I've been to a lot of them.
One or two, maybe, yeah.
But what's different about ACATA is I've never seen this level of interaction. I've never seen the president of a Boeing Canada come up to a tiny piddly booth at a six booth show and actually talk to us in a meaningful way.
Yeah.
The other thing is, ACATA actually goes out of their way to make the introductions. Victoria will come over and say, Noah, have you met this person? And that person could be, the CEO of an airline. They could be, someone starting up a tech startup. And so to put a value on ACATA, specifically ACATA, is impossible. We have so much value from ACATA. I'm probably their biggest salesperson out there, because we are here today because of that happenstance, because Duff was willing to come and talk to us, not looking very professional or fancy, and took us seriously, and ACATA was really there to facilitate the entire thing. So the value is just tremendous.
Wow. Duff, how about yourself? What do you think?
Well, ACATA is, for me, and pardon the expression, it's like one-stop shopping here in the Atlantic region, right? Because they look after all the Atlantic provinces under their umbrella. There are similar organizations all across Canada, but by province. So if I want to go and do some talent hunting out west, I go to their province, and then I go to the next province, and then the next province. But here in the Atlantic region, everybody comes together under ACATA, and ACOA as well. But it allows me to go and speak with a larger group, and we all have the same common interests, going forward. And it's a big sector, right, of our industry and our economy. Like, it's not just aerospace; it's like many other things that all come together here in the Atlantic region. So I think it's brilliant how ACADA, took the associations from all the Atlantic provinces and put them together under ACADA.
Yep.
And so that's what I think is, and thankfully under Victoria's leadership right now.
Yeah.
And just phenomenal, like the results and the effort that goes into bringing everybody together. But that's why I come. But it's true, because I'll show up at these types of events, and I'll introduce myself. I'll say, hi, I'm Duff Sullivan with Boeing, and I'd just like to ask you a few questions. So we talk a bit, and then somebody will say, well, what do you do at Boeing? And I said, well, I'm with Boeing Canada. And they go, oh, okay, and where are you? What do you do? And I said, I'm the president of Boeing Canada. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well then, and I don't say that to impress anybody. I'm just saying that, it's part of my job, role, responsibility that I have to get out and learn as much as I can. And so because I'm kind of like the lead, we have 2,000 personnel here in Canada, Boeing Canada. But I like to be the guy that's actually there on the ground, meeting people up close and personal and talking. And it just allows me to do, I think, a better job.
Duff, you got a way about you, man. People want to work with you, I can tell. It's been an absolute pleasure to be in conversation. What a wonderful story sprouting out of Mass last year, growing this way, and I hope the relationship develops over time. I can't wait to pick up a newspaper or open it up on the computer one day and read how that Boeing aircraft landed on that runway. It's going to be fantastic. Guys, thanks for what you do. You're making a real difference to our friends up north. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Alan. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Alan.
Well done, guys.
BlueMetric wants to partner and work with Atlantic Canadian industries and organizations who are concerned about the water health of our planet and the people who inhabit it in an environmentally and culturally sensitive manner. BlueMetric wants to join the growing number of like-minded, innovative Atlantic Canadian companies who are changing the environmental landscape for the globe in a world-class way.